So who is monitoring your bank accounts to prevent fraud? If you ask a Cloverdale couple, is not the banks.
Thousands of dollars disappeared from their bank accounts, but because the PIN was used from their stolen debit cards, they were held liable.
In 2015, the banks forced you to use the chip. They promised absolute security. They lied. Criminals found a massive loophole in the software. It is called the fallback transaction. They break the machine on purpose. They force you to swipe the old magnetic stripe. They steal your personal identification number. They drain your life savings in 10 minutes. You walk away thinking it was just a simple glitch. You are wrong. Today, we expose the 10 dark stages of the card fallback scam. The gas station trap at number 4 is terrifying. Let us get into it. Number 10, the physical sabotage protocol. You approach the checkout counter. You insert your card. The machine beeps twice. It spits the card out. The screen displays a chip, read error. You think your card is dirty. You rub it on your shirt. You try again. It fails again. This is not an accident. The scammer was here an hour ago. They do not need to hack the bank. They just need to break the plastic slot. They use a thin metal tool to damage the internal contacts of the chip reader. They bend the tiny gold pins inside the machine. Sometimes they use clear nail polish. They paint the inside of the slot. The polish dries fast and it dries invisible. It creates a physical barrier between your card and the reader. The machine cannot read the encrypted data. It tries 3 times and gives up. This mechanical failure triggers a software protocol. The protocol is called the fallback. The machine assumes your chip is broken. It asks you to swipe the magnetic stripe instead. This is the exact moment the trap springs. The magnetic stripe is ancient technology. It contains 0 encryption. It holds your raw account number. It holds your expiration date. It holds your name. When you swipe the card, the hidden skimmer reads everything in plain text. The criminal needs you to swipe. They engineered the error to force your hand. You feel rushed. The line behind you is growing. People are sighing. The cashier tells you to just swipe the card. You follow the instructions to avoid embarrassment. You swipe the stripe. You hand your entire financial identity to a ghost. They operate in highly organized teams. One person distracts the clerk by asking for a specific brand of cigarettes. The other person sabotages the terminal. They target busy convenience stores. They target self-checkout lanes where employees are not watching. They know you will not inspect the slot. You just want to pay for your groceries and leave. They rely on your desire for speed. They rely on social pressure. You swipe the card and secure their payload. The physical destruction of the reader is just the entry point. The visual trick they use to capture your secret code at number 9 is absolutely invisible. Number 9, the microscopic camera array. Stealing the magnetic stripe data is only half the battle. A cloned debit card is totally useless without the personal identification number. The scammers must capture your 4-digit code. They do not guess it, they watch you type it. They install microscopic cameras above the keypad. These cameras are smaller than a pencil eraser. They hide them inside fake plastic molding. They match the color of the terminal perfectly. They buy the exact same plastic trim from the manufacturer. They drill a tiny hole. They mount the camera board. They stick the fake molding directly above the screen using double-sided industrial tape. You never look up, you look down at your fingers. The camera records a high-definition video of your hand. It captures every single keystroke. It sends the video feed via a wireless transmitter directly to a smartphone. The criminal is sitting in a car in the parking lot. They watch you type the numbers in real time. They see the fallback error on the screen. They see you swipe. They see you punch the code. They have everything they need. The hardware is cheap. They buy the camera parts online for $20. They assemble the arrays in cheap motel rooms. Sometimes they do not use a camera. They use a false ceiling panel. They hide a camera directly above the checkout lane. They angle the lens to shoot straight down at the keypad. They zoom in on your fingers. You think covering your hand with your wallet stops them. It does not. They study the movement of your knuckles. They map the geometry of your wrist. They use software to track the exact position of your hand. They know what numbers you pressed based on the angle of your fingers. The banking industry refuses to update the physical design of the keypads. They leave the numbers fully exposed. They refuse to install privacy shields. They pass the risk directly to you. Cameras watch from above, but the physical overlay they place directly on the keys at number 8 captures your code without recording a single frame of video. Number 8. The silicone keypad overlay cameras require batteries. Batteries die. Scammers hate replacing hardware. They invented a silent passive method to steal your code. They use a keypad overlay. They mold a perfect silicone replica of the terminal keypad. They paint the numbers to match the original buttons. They make it look slightly worn so it blends in. The silicone pad is incredibly thin. It is less than 1 millimeter thick. They drop this fake pad directly over the real keys. When you press a button, you are actually pressing their electronic membrane. The membrane records the number. It stores the sequence on a microscopic memory chip hidden inside the edge of the silicone. It passes the physical pressure down to the real button below. The machine registers the transaction. The screen advances. You suspect nothing. The keys feel slightly spongy, but you assume the machine is just old. The scammer returns to the store at midnight. They walk up to the machine. They peel the silicone pad off the terminal. They slip it into their pocket. They walk out. The entire retrieval takes 2 seconds. They connect the pad to a laptop. They download a text file containing hundreds of personal identification numbers. They match the timestamps of the numbers with the timestamps of the stolen magnetic stripe data. They pair the code to the card. They do this with absolute precision. The silicone overlay defeats your hand shield completely. It does not matter how well you cover the keys. The pad feels your touch. You must test the keypad before you use it. You must grab the edge of the plastic and pull. If it moves, it is fake. The real keypad is bolted down. It will not shift. If you are tired of banks ignoring these massive security flaws, hit the subscribe button right now. We need your help to expose these corporate failures. The overlay is a masterpiece of deception, but the psychological trap at number 7 forces you to type your code twice. Number 7, the double prompt trap. Scammers know that technology sometimes fails. Sometimes their skimmer misses a digit. Sometimes their camera drops a frame of video. They built a redundancy protocol into their fake software. They use the double prompt trap. You swipe the card after the fallback error. The machine asks for your code. You type the numbers. The screen pauses. It displays a fake processing message. Then it flashes red. It says incorrect code. It asks you to try again. You know you typed the correct numbers. You think your finger slipped. You type the code a second time. You type it slower. You press the keys harder. You make sure you hit the exact center of every button. This is exactly what the criminal wants. The first error was a total fake. The skimmer generated the error message to force you to repeat the action. The camera missed the first attempt because your body blocked the lens. By forcing you to type it again, you adjust your stance. You move your hand. You expose the keypad to the lens. The scammer gets a clear shot. They use software to trigger the error prompt. The real banking system does not ask you to re-enter a code if the magnetic stripe read fails. A real terminal cancels the transaction entirely. If a machine asks you for your code twice after a fallback swipe, you are in extreme danger. You must press the red cancel button immediately. You must pull your card away. You must pay with cash. Do not type the numbers a second time. You are feeding the algorithm. The scammers study human behavior. They know you will blame yourself for the error. They weaponize your self-doubt. They turn your desire to finish the transaction into a weapon against your bank account. They trap you at the grocery store, but the automated nightmare at number 6 targets you when you are completely alone. Number 6, the midnight automated teller trap. The fallback scam reaches its absolute peak at the outdoor automated teller machine. You drive up to the bank at midnight. You need cash for the weekend. The parking lot is empty. The lighting is poor. You push your card into the glowing green slot. The machine pulls the card deep inside. It holds it. The screen displays an error message. It says the chip is unreadable. It says it will process the transaction using the magnetic stripe. This is a massive red flag. A legitimate bank machine will never fall back to the magnetic stripe for a cash withdrawal. The banking regulations forbid it. If the chip fails, the machine must eject the card. The scammers bypass this rule. They install a deep insert skimmer. This device is completely internal. You cannot see it from the outside. You cannot pull on it. It sits 2 inches inside the card slot. It intercepts the communication between the chip and the bank. It blocks the signal. It forces the machine software into an emergency diagnostic mode. It triggers the fallback protocol locally. The machine reads the stripe as the card slides past the internal skimmer. The camera hidden in the light fixture records your code. The machine gives you your cash. You drive away. You think everything is fine. The criminals return at 3 in the morning. They use a special metal hook to extract the internal skimmer. They download your data. They clone your card onto a blank piece of white plastic. They drive to a different bank machine in a different city. They slide the white plastic into the slot. They type your code. They empty your daily withdrawal limit in 60 seconds. They repeat this process every night until your account hits 0. You are sleeping in your bed. Your money is flying out of a machine 50 miles away. The internal skimmers are invisible. You cannot spot them. You must rely on the behavior of the machine. If a bank machine tells you the chip failed, you must cancel the session. Never proceed with a magnetic stripe withdrawal. But wait until you see the massive vulnerability at number 5. The entire fuel industry is compromised. Number 5. The rural gas station vulnerability. Gas stations are the ultimate feeding ground for the fallback scam. You pull up to pump number 8. It is the pump furthest away from the cashier window. The sun is glaring on the screen. You push your card into the slot. The screen says chip error. It says please swipe. You swipe the card. You type your code. You pump your gas. You drive away. You just became a victim. Rural gas stations are incredibly vulnerable. They use outdated hardware. They refuse to upgrade their pumps because the new machines cost $20,000 each. They run software from 10 years ago. The scammers know exactly which stations run the old software. They map them out. They drive massive routes across the country. They open the pump cabinet using a universal master key. They buy the master keys on the internet for $5. The pump manufacturers use the same lock on every single door. The criminal opens the door in broad daylight. They plug a Bluetooth skimmer directly into the motherboard of the pump. They close the door. They block the chip reader from the inside. They force the fallback error. The skimmer broadcasts your swiped data and your code over a wireless signal. The criminal sits in a tinted van across the street. They collect thousands of numbers every single day. They never touch the pump again. The data flies through the air directly to their laptop. They target diesel pumps because truck drivers have massive daily spending limits. They target rural pumps because the police response time is slow. You swipe your card for $40 of fuel. They steal $40,000 from your business account. You must never use a debit card at a gas pump. You must use a credit card. Better yet, you must walk inside the store and pay the cashier. If you agree that gas stations need to change their universal locks, hit the like button right now. We must force the industry to upgrade their security. The gas station is a massive threat, but the timing trick at number 4 ensures your money is gone before the bank even opens. Number 4. The Friday holiday weekend drain scammers are masters of timing. They do not steal your data and use it immediately. They wait. They build a massive database of cloned cards and captured codes. They hoard the data for months. They wait for a long holiday weekend. They strike on the Friday night before a major federal holiday. They know the bank fraud departments operate with a skeleton crew on weekends. They know you are busy traveling or spending time with family. You are not checking your mobile banking application. The banks are legally closed for 3 days. The scammers deploy teams of runners. A runner is a person hired to hold a stack of 50 cloned white plastic cards. The runners hit 20 different automated machines in a single night. They withdraw the maximum daily limit on every single card. When the clock strikes midnight, the daily limit resets. They do it again. They hit your account on Friday night. They hit it again on Saturday. They hit it again on Sunday. They hit it on Monday morning. By the time Tuesday arrives and the bank doors open, your account is completely decimated. You try to buy a coffee on Tuesday morning, your card declines, you call the bank. The bank tells you that you withdrew $10,000 in cash over the weekend. You panic. You tell them it was not you. The bank launches an investigation. They tell you it takes up to 90 days to restore the funds. Your mortgage payment is due. Your car payment is due. You have zero cash. The timing trap ruins your entire month. They use the calendar against you. They exploit the slow banking hours. You must set up instant text message alerts for every single transaction on your account. You must know the second a dollar leaves your bank. The weekend trap is brutal. But the psychological trick at number 3 makes you hand your card directly to the criminal. Number 3. The fake store employee. Hijack. The fallback scam moved from the machine to the human being. You walk into a busy electronics store. You want to buy a television. A friendly employee in a blue shirt approaches you. They wear a branded lanyard. They carry a mobile checkout tablet. They tell you to skip the long line at the front. They say they can ring you up right here in the aisle. You agree. They scan the television box. They hand you a small card reader. You insert your chip. The reader beeps. The screen displays the chip error. The employee smiles. They apologize for the glitch. They tell you the store internet is slow today. They ask you to swipe the card on the side of the device instead. You swipe the card. They hand you the device. They ask you to type your code. You type the numbers. The transaction clears. They hand you a printed receipt. You walk out with the television. The employee was a complete fake. They bought the blue shirt online. They printed the fake name tag at home. The tablet was a custom skimming machine. The printed receipt was worthless paper. They did not work for the store. They just stole your card data and your code in plain sight. They walk out the back door 5 minutes later. The real store security cameras catch them leaving, but they wear a hat and a mask. They use social engineering to build trust. You see a uniform and you comply. You trust the mobile reader because it looks modern. The criminals designed the fake software to look identical to the real corporate point of sale system. You must verify the employee. You must refuse mobile checkouts if the chip reader fails. A real corporate device will not force a fallback on a mobile tablet. They will direct you to a physical register. Fake employees steal your data to your face. But the dark web marketplace at number 2 turns your stolen card into a global commodity. Number 2, the international data auction. Your local scammer does not usually empty your bank account. The guy who placed the camera over the keypad is just a data harvester. He is a low-level worker in a massive global syndicate. He takes the stolen fallback data and uploads it to a hidden marketplace on the dark web. He sells your financial identity in bulk packages. He sells a batch of 1,000 debit cards for $50 each. The buyers are located in different countries. A criminal in Eastern Europe buys your card data, they download the file, they load your information onto a mobile payment application on their phone, they walk into an electronics store in another country, they tap their phone to the terminal, they buy 10 luxury smartphones. The charge hits your bank account in America. Your bank algorithm sees a massive foreign transaction. Sometimes they block it, often they miss it. The transaction uses the correct personal identification number. The system thinks it is you. The scammers know how to bypass the geographic fraud filters. They use virtual private networks to route the transaction through a server in your home city. The bank computers see the purchase originating from your hometown. The fraud clears. Your stolen data becomes a permanent product in the digital underworld. They sell it multiple times. Once the first buyer drains the primary checking account, a second buyer tests the card for overdraft protection limits. They squeeze every single penny out of your identity. You must cancel the compromised card permanently. You cannot just freeze it. You must demand a new account number. The global syndicate moves faster than local law enforcement. By the time you file a police report, your money is converted into cryptocurrency and dispersed across 10 different countries. The dark web auction is terrifying, but the absolute #1 nightmare of the fallback scam is how the bank handles the aftermath. The corporate policy at number 1 will leave you bankrupt. Number 1, the zero liability illusion. The banks spend millions of dollars advertising their zero liability policies. They promise you will never pay for fraudulent charges. They put massive banners on their websites. The promise is a massive corporate illusion. The fine print of the banking contract contains a lethal clause. The zero liability protection heavily favors credit cards. It does not fully protect debit cards. When a criminal clones your debit card and uses your actual code to withdraw cash, the bank shifts the blame to you. The bank investigates the fraud. Their computers show the physical card was present. Their computers show the exact personal identification number was typed. The bank sends you a formal letter. The letter states they deny your fraud claim. They claim you must have given your card and your code to a friend or a family member. They claim you are committing friendly fraud. They refuse to replace the $10,000 stolen from your account. You scream at the manager. You explain the fallback scam. You tell them the machine forced you to swipe. You tell them a camera watched your fingers. The bank does not care. The burden of proof falls entirely on you. You must hire a lawyer. You must fight a massive financial institution just to get your own money back. The process takes years. Most people give up. The bank uses the presence of the correct code as an absolute defense against liability. They know their terminals are vulnerable to fallback manipulation. They know the keypads lack privacy shields. They ignore the hardware flaws because covering the losses is cheaper than replacing every terminal in the country. They leave you holding the bag. They destroy your financial stability to protect their quarterly profit margins. You must stop using debit cards for daily purchases. These guys break the system to force you into the ancient unencrypted past. They steal your Stripe. They record your fingers. They auction your life on the dark web. They drain your accounts while you sleep. The bank abandons you. You must break the habit. You must inspect every single machine. You must wiggle the keypad. You must pull on the card slot. If a machine ever rejects your chip and tells you to swipe, you must walk away. Leave the groceries on the counter. Cancel the fuel pump. Protect your code with your life. You now understand the architecture of the modern retail trap. You know the hardware secrets. You know the corporate policies designed to ruin you. Click the video coming up on your screen right now to see the next big secret. We will see you there. Thanks for watching.